This podcast is a member of the Place to Be Nation family. Visit us at placetobenation.com, the only place to be in your pop culture world.
Someone there?
Pikachu? Oh, jeez.
Did you just talk?
Whoa. Did you just understand me?
You can understand me!
Stop!
I've been so lonely! There's magic that brought us together. And that magic is called hope. You can talk to humans, I can talk to Pokemon. We can talk to each other.
We're gonna do this. You and me.
You found yourself a Pokemon partner. Cute.
Yeah, she's trying to work me, kid, but trust me, I can. Oh, sweet. Mother of Arceus, that feels so good. What happened?
What are you doing?
I can't do it when people are watching.
This is very exciting. Are you excited?
Yeah.
I think you just peed a little.
So,
Oh, no, that's me. That was me.
Place to Be Nation, welcome to Pop Goes to the Movies. Of course, we're always on the wonderful Pop feed over here at Place to Be Nation. And I'm here today with the wonderful Andy Atherton.
Thank
Hello,
you.
Andy.
Thank you, Miranda. Thank you for having me. Getting together with me to talk a little more movies. We just can't get enough movies here at Pop Feed.
Enough bird movies.
Enough. It's not a bird movie.
Well,
So, what are we talking about tonight, Miranda?
Pika.
That's right. Pokemon Detective Pikachu. That's right. We both saw it this past weekend, and we're here to chat about. We're going to give you our initial thoughts, a little overview, general thoughts. We're going to take a quick breather, and then we'll come back and we're going to spoil the movie. So you can listen to us now, and if you're sitting there and you're like, I don't know, I can't listen because I don't want Pikachu spoiled. Although there are some fun twists in the movie, so you might, if you haven't seen it, listen to us now. When you hear the Place to Be Nation, words from our sponsor, pause it, come back, and listen to what we have to say later. So, Miranda, we have boys about the same age, right?
We do.
Yes, your boy is, 13 almost?
Almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a month. So technically, as in mom mode, he's 12.
Yes.
But yes.
Yeah, and mine turned 12 last month. And actually, my 17-year-old daughter is also into Pokemon as well. Not as much as she used to be, but she's quite versed in it. So, how much did you know personally going into Pokemon Detective Pikachu?
I actually grew up. Well, I don't want to say.
Yeah, you're a little bit younger than me.
I am. I can't remember how much. Anyway, it
Well,
came out.
I'm 46.
When I was younger. Like I was an older group of the people that started in it, but because I can't remember now.
Well, it was like the late 90s, I think.
Yeah, and I was already like I was in high school in '99, so I was already like older group of people that were getting into it, and I had younger brothers, so I usually paid attention to what they were into. So I had a pretty good general knowledge. Now there are some of the newer gen Pokemon that I'm not super familiar with, even though my son is super into Pokemon. We just, we don't play the card game as much as we used to, and we don't really watch the newer cartoon, like we did the older stuff. So there were a couple that I was like, I don't remember that. But overall, I was like, oh, that's a this, and that's a this, and...
Yeah, I knew nothing up until a couple of years ago about Pokemon, really. I mean, it was about like 99. I had just started at my current job. I was a freelancer, and we had this hours rule. And my hours were running out. And then, like, January 1st, your hours would zero out, and you could start up again. And so I wasn't, I was young, still living at home. And it was almost Thanksgiving, like early November. So they're like, well, your hours are out, but we'll bring you back January 1st. I'm like, cool. So I'm like, all right, I'll go find something to do for, a couple of months. And then, didn't have a lot of pressure, wasn't really that much of a grown up yet, even though I was in my mid to late 20s. And I went to work at the Warner Bros. Store, if you remember those places.
Oh, yeah, I do.
In one of the local malls. And Pokemon I think Gold had just come out, and people were coming in there And I know a shit ton about Warner Bros., Looney Tunes, Hanna-Barbera. I know nothing about Pokemon. And they're asking me questions. I'm like, I don't know. And it was something that was going on in the background, like I never paid attention to. And then fast forward, I have kids, and as they're getting older, the cartoons were on in the background, and then, they get DSs. Like I never played like the games, Pokemon games on my N64, but my kids
I
now.
did on my Game Boy.
Well, we actually have. My son went to the retro store last year and got Pokemon Stadium or something.
Cool.
But every year now it's like, oh, we got to get what is it, Ruby Sapphire or whatever the hell it's called.
Oh yeah.
Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby, and we got Black and White or whatever. Every year there's those 2 Pokemon games that come out.
Yeah.
So I know about that, and then Pokemon Go comes out, and I'm always on my phone, playing games. I go outside, quote unquote, to get air. So I usually play Candy Crush or something, and I just got into Pokemon Go, and it was like, but I only caught the Pokemon. Like I never battled. I never did this. I never did it. I got obsessed with catching them. And then I stopped playing it I think it was sometime last year because Jurassic World Alive came out. And I'm like, oh, I like dinosaurs way better. So,
my son started playing that one, and then there's a Ghostbusters one.
Yes, there's a Walking Dead one. They're all
I think he has that one too.
Yeah, off mic, you can, I'll give you my name. Your son and I could be friends on Jurassic World Alive. Okay. We could do friendly battles.
There you go.
You go, and I'll message you. Miranda, Caden's kicking my ass again. But, so I knew of quite a bit of the Pokemon in the movie. Mm-hmm. But the entire time, I'm sitting in between my 2 kids, my son kept going, like the whole movie, he's whispering it. He's like, oh my God, and there was so much going on. So what were your overall, was Caden excited, when you first saw it, the trailers and all that stuff?
So to be honest, I think we talked about this on our summer game wager, because my brain is evading me on what we actually called that.
The summer movie preview.
Summer movie preview. See, that's simple, and I couldn't remember that. And he saw it and was excited. And then, as time got closer, he was like, I don't really know. And I was like, are you kidding me, child? Are you kidding me? So we had agreed, because we still have not been able. We were initially going to go to Ugly Dolls on opening weekend, and that didn't happen. I was sick, he was sick. We were both like, forget it. Mm-hmm. So this weekend I said, okay, you can pick Ugly Dolls or Detective Pikachu, and he was like, well, and then he goes, you know what? It's Mother's Day. We're going to see Detective Pikachu because I know you really want to see it. I was like, okay. So we went for Mother's Day, he and I, and the whole time he was getting ready to go, he was like, okay. And he wasn't being rude because he was like, it's Mother's Day. And I told her we would go. But you could tell he was like, I just don't know. And then we get there and he starts getting kind of hyped. And I'm like, okay. And then they gave you, I don't know about you guys, but we got free card packs.
Oh, really? No, we didn't get those.
Yeah, we got card packs. There's only 2 or 3 in there. And it has how they look in the movie.
Ooh.
And they're shimmery. Some of them are shimmery. They're really they're special cards. And I was like, oh, cool. So they gave us a card pack. When they gave us that card pack, he was like, oh yeah. And then he was in it. Mm-hmm. And we left and he was like, that was so good.
Yeah, my kids liked it. My son got a poster at Target. They had some kind of special poster that had to deal with the movie. We saw it. Now, it was my weekend this weekend, but, they were with their mom on Sunday. Mm-hmm. So I had 2 days to figure out, how they're going to see it, because it was also my daughter's birthday. And then we had to go to my family's house. So there was a 10:20 showing Saturday morning. So
that's a good time, actually.
Yeah, there was a 9:20, but I was like, there was no way I was getting up there early to go see Detective Pikachu. So we go, it was fun. They both enjoyed it. I mean, I thought it was good. I thought there's some plot holes, of course, but I thought the art design, the Pokemon themselves, were photorealistic. How it was pretty incredible.
That part I felt like was done very, very well.
Yeah, and I thought overall, it was a good movie. Unfortunately, it came out 2 weeks after Endgame, and I think Endgame still won the weekend.
Oh yeah, there were tons of people in front of us and behind us in line that they were there to see Endgame. Like they were like, because their kids were like, "Oh, I can't believe you made us wait so late. I already know things I don't want to know." And I was like kind of giggling to myself. And Caden was like, "Well, you know what?" I'm like, "Shh."
Don't spoil it.
He's like, "Well, okay, yeah, you're right." So he's like, I said, "Don't you hate when people do that?" And he's like, "I do. I need to stop." And he did. So, but yeah, I was amazed at the amount of people there on Mother's Day weekend to see Endgame for the first time.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, it's sometimes people just can't get around to.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, I'm trying to see it a second time. I mean, I might go see it again this weekend because I still have to see John Wick 2, so I'm not allowing myself to see John Wick 3 yet.
See, I'm waiting because my mother really wants to see it, and she keeps saying nobody will go see it with her. So I'm waiting, and if I had a tiny little possible road trip planned up there, and if I can, her and I are going to go see it. So it'll be my second viewing her first.
So, okay. So overall, as a movie, what did you think of it?
Overall, the movie, I thought it was a really good movie. I also thought it was a smart move at being considered a summer movie, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I could have seen it maybe a November release.
Oh, for sure.
Doing very well, actually, as long as it stays away from like Star Wars or something.
Yeah. Overall, yeah, the concept and the design and lighting, because I'm going to be honest with you, here lately, too often in a movie, I'm like, it was too dark, and people are like, "Oh, really? I guess I needed to know that." And I'm like, no, like lighting wise, like. Yeah. Cinematography, it's dark. It's not like that kind of dark. So I was pleased because there were parts where I was like, "Oh boy, here we go," thinking that the shot was going to be like really kind of like Game of Thrones, like it's too dark. Oh. But it wasn't, and I liked that. And then, like you said, the Pokemon overall, I felt were done very well.
Yeah.
To bring something like that to life is kind of hard, really.
I thought. Yeah, I liked the design of it. There were some interesting choices on some of the Pokemon that were featured. Mm-hmm. I thought we'll get into that when we get into spoilers. But overall, I thought it was it was like a film noir for kids, basically.
Oh, yeah.
It was a mystery that they kind of had to puzzle pieces together and try to figure out what was really going on.
And then it's not what you think it is. It kind of swerve you.
Yeah. Like
I had thought possibly, then not, and then I was like, "Oh, I was right." No, I was wrong. So yeah, I kind of like that they kind of,
a lot of misdirection in this movie,
right? Which
was, I thought that was fun. What did you think of Ryan Reynolds? Because he's a big time voice. Yeah, he's got a very distinct voice. Very, I'm sure consciously he was trying to not do the cadence of Deadpool, which he didn't. He wasn't.
Well, he didn't, but even then, the cadence that Deadpool carries is somewhat because that's just Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
So I had read several articles that said he wanted to try to give Detective Pikachu this like more of a Boston, kind of like what you would hear in a film noir detective movie. And the people were like, "No, just be Ryan Reynolds. Like we just want Ryan Reynolds." And he was like, "Okay," because I guess he kind of went to them and was like, "I would love to do this. I would love to be the voice." And they were like, "Okay, cool." And then he gave them what he wanted, and they were like, "No, like we just want Ryan. You want us? We want Ryan. We just want Ryan Reynolds." So I was a little hesitant because I was afraid the whole time people would hear that voice and just expect to see Deadpool.
Yeah.
But I thought he did it really well, and he was even funny, but was clean, and I knew he could be, but I mean, I thought overall he actually really worked for this role.
Yeah, I heard some people thought Danny DeVito should have been the voice of Detective Pikachu.
That may be the voice of a different Pikachu, but then that's something that we can get into as well. But maybe, but I don't see him. He's funny, and I love Danny DeVito, but I don't see him working for this.
Yeah. No, it was definitely, Justice Smith. I haven't seen too much of him outside of Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. His character was very annoying in that movie. Right. The computer nerd who doesn't really go outside.
The kind of making it look like we're all that way. Kind of like when they put a spin on nerds, where you're like, that is not okay, sure. Like, you're making us all look bad, basically.
But yeah, I mean, I assume there's definitely going to be a sequel.
That's my understanding.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. We'll talk about that again. We'll talk about that more in spoilers about where we think it could go. I'm trying to think without spoiling, see if we have any more we can say before we move on. Trying to think.
I think there are a couple of overall speaking, I think there's some character development that could have been done maybe just a little bit better, like fleshing out of, so to speak, just a little bit better.
There was one thing, though. It really, probably, I don't know, maybe even more than Endgame. If you didn't know Pokemon, you may have been a little lost, I think.
Oh, for sure. Because I hate for us to keep saying, like, well, in the spoilers, but very much so, like, something I'm sure that we'll more than 100% talk about. If you don't know your Pokemon, then you are going to be way swerved, basically, or not figure something out because you're not going to understand something that's going on at one point.
Well, I think they had to make a choice, the filmmakers did, because it was like there's so much exposition they could get bogged down in. Or they could just say, look, this is the world. These are the Pokemon. We'll sort of show you who they are, their personalities, their powers, but we can't sit here and say, okay, well, this is what a Psyduck does. This is what a Squirtle does. This is what a Cubone does. I was a little surprised that Cubone was featured in this movie, by the way. The little I know about Pokemon, I was like, whoa, that was an interesting choice.
I think he's way more liked, from my understanding, than I thought, to be honest with you. And honestly, there are over 800 Pokemon, so it would be quite impossible to get down to the nitty-gritty of, more than a small handful of them.
Yeah, and it also seemed to be mostly first gen, right? Like not whatever, like the ones that, how a squirrel start and then it becomes a war turtle and then it becomes a Blastoise.
There's
the evolutions.
A lot of evolutions there. Yeah, there's not really.
I'd say maybe
and there are
like
way more first gen than there are of the new age or anything else, evolution-wise.
Yeah, maybe 30% were evolved or final evolutions, I would think, in the movie. I would say.
I'd say that'd be a good rough estimate, probably.
Yeah, so, all right, well, I don't know if there's anything else we can say without spoiling it. So, what do you say we take like a really short break, we hear some words about Place to Be Nation, and then when we get back, Miranda and I, we're going to spoil it. Right, Miranda?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, we're going to spoil it. So stick around. We'll be right back because...
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Place to Be Nations, JT Rosero and Chad Campbell here. We want to let you know that we have over 24 podcasts available on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and PlaceToBeNation.com. We now offer them to you on 2 great feeds. On the Place to Be Nation Wrestling feed, we dive into topics running the gamut from today's WWE to the glory days of yesteryear and the ins and outs of the territory days. In addition to our full-length shows, we also deliver to you special pod blasts on topics old and new.
The Place to Be Nation Pop feed is a veritable treasure trove of great content, offering tremendous shows covering the land of movies, television, life, comics, and sports, brought to you by the most knowledgeable and insightful folks in the podcast world.
You can find all of these current shows, plus archives of our previous podcasts over the past 8 years as well, by subscribing to our feeds on iTunes. And while there, be sure to rate and leave feedback as well. All of these shows, plus others, available at PlaceToBeNation.com, where we cover pro wrestling, sports, movies, comics, plus in-depth stretch projects and more. Be sure to support our site by using www.PlaceToBeNation.com/Amazon while doing your online shopping. And be sure to join us at our forum at Bigelow34.ProBoards.com. PlaceToBeNation.com for all sorts of wrestling, sports, and pop culture discussion each and every day where you can make your voice heard. We also want to thank our friends at Bonehead's Wing Bar, ProWrestlingOnly.com, and TheHistoryOfWrestling.com. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr as well. PlaceToBeNation.com, the only place to be in your pop culture world.
Place to Be Nation, welcome back to Pop Goes the Movies here in the Place to Be Nation Pop Feed. That's right, we're talking Detective Pikachu. I am Andy Atherton. I'm around here with Miranda Berthold. We're going to get back to the movie, actually get into the spoilers section of our review. But first, we're going to talk about what's going on here at Place to Be Nation. Here on the PTBN Pop Feed, you know, it's always a busy week, always a little something for everybody. Ben Morrison and Russell Sellers closed out 1970 on a new Marvel Age masterclass. Our good friend and your geek and sassy compadre, Jennifer Smith, welcomed Todd Weber, the manager, to watch Yoga Hosers and this month's Freak Out Drive-In. Have you ever seen Yoga Hosers?
I actually have not. Like, the other day when they were talking about it, I was like, you know what? I don't think I've seen that one. Or if I have, I truly don't remember.
That's like the only Kevin Smith movie I think I've never seen. So, I think his daughter's like the star of it. I don't know.
Oh, you know what? I may have then.
And then a big thing happened here at Place to Be Nation on Twitter. Mr. Rosero, JT, with Peter Winston and Don Carrillo, they paid tribute to the wonderful Veep as it winds down its run, and they even got a shout out from Julia Louis-Dreyfus on Twitter.
Oh, wow. I did not see that.
Yeah, they tweeted at her, and she liked it, and then the next day she retweeted it. So we're thinking she must have listened to the podcast.
Oh, that is amazing.
Yeah, so we got a little love from this JLD there. We have Jad, now we have Jalen. So one of my shows, actually, Miranda, you're going to be on very soon. Laugh-In Theater. Episode 5 was Russell Sellers and myself. We watched Forgetting Sarah Marshall. A lot of fun. And hot off the presses, just recorded episode number 6 with the aforementioned Jennifer Smith. We watched Dumb and Dumber. So that should be coming to the pop feed very soon. Yes, it was a lot of fun, and Jenny, you know, knows that movie backwards and forwards, so she was a great pick for her to choose.
Oh, for sure.
And then we had the Hard Traveling Fanboys. They had off the page a review of Marvel Ultimate Alliance, and then over on the PTBN Wrestling feed, we just had it just recently went up this week. The podcast, the Place to Be podcast, episode 520, was a WWF house show from Madison Square Garden on 4/24/89. Scott and Justin welcomed the Raging Cajun, Jambalaya, Jacob Williams in to a fun show to discuss what happened post WrestleMania 5. It was the first big show after Hogan defeated Savage, so check that out. And then we have our newest show over there, Row 1, Seat 1, with Ben Zanni. He chatted with up-and-comer O'Shea Edwards, and then breaks down the Making Towns Classic and the WrestleMania weekend Black Calf Wrestling show. And then also in the new Making Towns with Friends, Steve welcomes Kelly Jean to talk about her first live wrestling experience. And we continue to dive into the vault to bring you classic episodes of Where the Big Boys Play. In the latest installment, Parv, Chad, and Solomon finished their look at Starrcade 1987. Also, don't forget to check out our social media pages and message board at bigelow34.proboards.com for information on joining our GWWE pay-per-view and TV match ever greatest project. Get in on the conversation today and start researching your list. Also, a new tournament is coming soon. Hopefully, it will start right after Memorial Day around June 1st. It is a reboot of our Greatest Song of the 80s tournament. Miranda, you're on the tournament committee. Mm-hmm. So we have a lot of songs to get through to get to the final field. We have a lot of songs that are going to be matched up on our Facebook page. For those of you that participate in the Candy Tournament, we just took the page and we turned it into the Greatest Song of the 80s tournament. So no have to re-like, but if you don't like it, go on, like it, and vote when the matchups go up. So stay tuned for that. So anything else you got going on, Miranda, that we should talk about? We Geek and Sassy's on a brief hiatus?
Yeah, temporarily, unfortunately, because I was supposed to be having surgery, and let's just say insurance companies are great, and I'm not having surgery right now. I am still having it. It's just they have to basically my doctor now has to have an intake meeting with the insurance company's board of surgeons, dental surgeons, and tell them, hey, as her doctor, this is why she needs the right side and the left side done, and you have to approve this.
So approve it, damn it.
Yeah, pretty much, because I'm not going through this twice.
Yes.
So just go ahead and approve it so I can get this done and over with.
All right, so let's make our Miranda better and get her back on podcasting as soon as we can.
Pretty much.
That's right. So let's move on. We're going to spoil Detective Pikachu. So if you haven't seen the movie or and you don't want to be spoiled, pause it, come back, and take a listen later on after you've seen the movie. So we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about all the plot details, including the ending. So here's your last warning. Spoilers for Detective Pikachu starting now. Pika, Pika. Okay.
Oh, that was so good.
I tried. So where should we start? What'd you think of the choice of the Pokemon in this movie that were somewhat featured?
Well, off the bat, you get Mewtwo, rather.
Yes.
Which I thought, okay, that's a pretty good choice. I feel like most kids that are here to see this will know this as well as the adults, which I don't know about your screening. There were far more adults in mine than there were kids.
Well, it was early morning, so it was mostly families. There was like one guy by himself, an adult, but I mostly saw one parent to two kids kind of deal going on.
Right. There were families, but even Caden and I sat between, Caden had a guy right beside him, and then there was a seat between me and then so me and Caden, and then there was an empty seat, and then another guy by himself, and then two empty seats and another guy by himself. And I was like, yeah, far more adults in here. Well, we went to the 115 on Mother's Day too, so
yeah,
that probably had something to do with it. But I thought because of that, kind of gauging my audience there, I thought the opening one was at least one that, regardless, they would know it. And then, of course, you go into a crap ton of Pidgeys.
Yes.
So many Pidgeys.
Damn birds.
Just to see, that's why I was like, it kind of is a bird movie. Add that to my, it's not a bird movie.
Yes.
So this time it kind of is.
Yeah. There's a lot of actually bird Pokemon out there.
Yes.
Just
but yeah.
Yes, just like the game, as you said earlier. It's oh man, I got another Pidgey sheet. And then there's also a seagull one, and then there's this one and that one, and
yeah.
But I thought it was interesting. I don't know too much about some of the personalities, like the Cubone. I don't know why that was a disappointment to pick one. He's kind of cool. He's got a mask and a bone. I don't know.
Yeah, and he was not joking. That is his skull that he wears on his head is apparently the dead. It's a skull from a dead sister.
Oh God.
And it doesn't remove its skull helmet. No one has actually ever seen this Pokemon without it. Apparently, according to Red Blue. And then it's the skull of, it says deceased ancestor, but I've always read it's deceased mother. It's constantly sad and melancholy.
But it was kind of cool, how you go and there's all those, I think toros or buffalo or whatever those things are called in a field.
I always say that one wrong. I think it is toros.
Yeah. And then there was just it was kind of cool, how they were just there. But apparently, so Rhyme City is the only place where you Pokemon can roam free, basically, without fear of being caught and trapped in a ball or having to fight.
Right.
Or
there's no Poke battles allowed, so it's not like this whole you catch a Pokemon and you fight it and you battle it and you become this trainer. There's no more of that. It's you're living hand in hand, side by side, coexisting and working together. So everyone still does have a Pokemon not assigned to it. It chooses you instead of you choosing it. Cause that was always the saying, Ash would be I choose you. Mm-hmm. And I think the whole point is that the Pokemon chooses you now in Rhyme City. So yeah, if you noticed that, because they never if they always like their Pokemon always seems to walk around with them like an equal, and like, and they're never. So it's more of like they choose you.
Yeah, there was I mean there was that one scene with the lick turn that was kind of.
Oh God, I was like, like I had just taken a bite of something too, and I was like, I'm not sure how I feel right now.
And then there was, I noticed there were a lot of growlers around because they're dogs, I guess. You know, there were some snubbles, especially with Ken Watanabe's character. Interesting how they chose a Psyduck to be in it, who was basically, from what I understand, you have to keep him calm or he explodes or something. Something like that. They have
like a sonic explode, like sonic wave, like a psychic wave, basically, that like out, and like it's pretty catastrophic from everything I remember.
Psyduck. That's all I remember.
Yeah, and he's kind of
neurotic.
So he looks like a platypus, but he's also he's like a platypus and a duck together, in my opinion. Honestly, I don't know how to explain poor Psyduck. I really like him though. He's not one that you think to be featured, but if I did small research, and I guess he appeared in Mewtwo Strikes Back.
Oh, okay.
So that would make sense that they would throw it in a movie where Mewtwo is prevalent, pretty prevalent.
And then, one of my favorite ones, Charizard, was in there in an underground arena battle, which is cool, against and we also saw a Gengar and a Blastoise. I mean,
I liked the Gengar. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. And
especially all of them up there doing, like, the beatbox. I thought that was pretty neat.
Yeah, and so there were all kinds of... Like it was just cool. Like the mime guy was cool.
Oh,
that was a fun scene. It was a little like I'm gonna take this imaginary gasoline and pour it on you.
It was a little dark, and not the dark I was talking about earlier, but like for real dark, because he was like, "You're fixing to burn a Pokemon like alive for information."
Yes, and then and then there was also that it kind of. At one point, I mean, my kids wouldn't have gotten this if I said something, but if I was sitting next to like one of my buddies, I was like, "Oh my God, it's like the plot out of Batman." Because like if we fast forward to like the end of the movie, real quick, how the balloons were filled with that whatever that thing was that turned to Pokemon. I don't know. Where they make the people get trapped inside the Pokemon.
Oh yeah, that had like the Agent R or whatever it was.
Yeah.
What's sad is I just watched it Sunday and I can't remember. They just kept calling it R.
Yeah.
I think it did actually have a name, but
which actually my son was like, it's like Team Rocket.
That's what Caden kept saying. He's like, I bet you. He's like, what if Team Rocket was actually orchestrating that whole thing? And I was like, whoa, buddy. Like,
and they actually didn't. Spoiler. We're in spoilers.
Well, no, he was saying like after we watched it, he's like, what if in the number 2 you find out that Team Rocket actually convinced that guy to do all the things he did and like orchestrated like the whole thing? And I was like, maybe. I don't know that. So I mean, it's a pretty cool concept though, that Rhyme City, where, like you said, kind of a detective noir setup where Pokemon all live together, and there were parts that really made me think of like Asian countries with like
there's like a Chinatown,
right? Chinatown outdoor markets and stuff. But, I guess we should say why he came to Rhyme City, though, shouldn't we?
But like, I know I jumped ahead, but
it's okay.
What reminded me of Batman? You remember the first Batman movie with Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson? How he had that chemical that would turn people, like give them that Joker face or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And remember, he filled the balloons, and at the parade, and that was when they were. So that's where I was kind of like, "Ooh, that's a little familiar." And I mean, that came out in 1988, I guess, or in '89, around there. So, I mean, these kids probably wouldn't know that unless their parents showed them.
Right. I mean, my kid's seen it like several times, but I honestly didn't even think of that.
So yeah, so it turns out. What's his name? What was the lead guy's name again? Jeez, now I'm blanking. I'm calling it up now. Sorry.
No, it sounds really bad. Like I could say the dad's name.
Tim Goodman.
Tim.
So finds out his dad, quote unquote, dies in a car accident,
Right.
And he ends to Rhyme City. And I guess apparently he had wanted to be a Pokemon trainer and gave that up and didn't even have a Pokemon. Which was funny in the beginning of the movie when he's out there with his friend. My daughter goes, Dad, it's Delpinder from Deadpool.
Yeah, it's like, aww.
I kind of wish that he had a scene with Pikachu later.
I do wish that he'd been in it like later on, but he was there for a purpose, and I think they thought he filled it. So
so he heads out to Rhyme City, and now we have and Bill Nye, right? Not Bill Nye, Bill Nye, I think his name is, who plays Howard Clifford, who created Rhyme City, and his son runs it also, which is Chris Gere, Roger Clifford. So they, it's like a very futuristic place, and it's a safe haven, and the guy has a disease, and he's confined to a wheelchair. He's like kind of like a Bill Gates, Steve Jobs type.
Yes, very much get that correlation there.
Yeah. So and Tim goes and tries to clean out. Basically, goes to his dad's apartment, and that's when he runs into Detective Pikachu.
Pikachu, which does not say Pika Pika.
Well, he does say it to other people.
Right, to other people, but Tim can understand everything he says because they both are he's like, I know you don't understand me, but I'm going to take this. And he's pointing at his butt because he does electrocute. My son always calls it electro-cute because, Pikachu's supposed to be cute, cuddly. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I'm going to, Pikachu's doing this, and we all do it. So I hate to say this, but that thing that you do to people when they speak a different language? Yeah. You start talking slow and louder and you're pointing with your hands. Pikachu starts doing that to Tim because he's like, I know you can't understand me. And then when they realize they understand each other, they're both like, oh crap. What? And Tim thinks he's legitimately going crazy because he's decided that there's no way, something already doesn't sit right with him about his dad's passing and this, accident. Something it's just not right for him.
Yeah. So, it figures out that he was his dad's Pokemon partner, and they find that Agent R stuff, and they get it, they open it accidentally, and it goes out, and there's I don't know, what do you call a group of Pokemon? A herd, a gaggle, a school? I don't know, but there's a whole...
You know what? I think there's a correct term, and to be honest with you, I can't remember.
Well, those of you out there, go on to the Facebook page and let us know how wrong we are on a lot of these you Pokemon experts out there. But there's a bunch of, what do they call Alperns? They're monkey-type Pokemons.
Yeah.
And they kind of go a little batshit crazy. If you can correlate it to another, a kid's movie, Zootopia, I guess, when they had all the predators started going, what they were calling feral, or they were calling, whatever they were doing. So
essentially it's kind of like a... I would assume kind of like somebody doing roids or something. Jacking them up.
Roid rage or whatever. They were definitely on something, changed their personality and got vicious and aggressive and started attacking them. And that's when, Pokemon, Pikachu and Tim actually get out into the streets. And that's when, Tim basically just has to, come to terms that, this is real. This is not, you're not hallucinating this. Let's go get some coffee.
That's the greatest part. So apparently Pikachu is addicted to caffeine, which in hindsight makes complete sense because he's like a little ball of yellow energy. He shoots off electricity and stuff. So I could kind of see that now. But it was funny watching this Pokemon that speaks down cups and cups of coffee.
Yeah, I'm sure Red Bull's sitting here going, why didn't we get into this movie?
Right? We could have had Ryan Reynolds sucking down Red Bull and been like, Red Bull. You would have sold the crap out of some. Monster, Red Bull, any of you guys. Folgers. Come on now. Which, bad mom joke, I decided the other day, Folgers is not what's good till the last drop. It's dry shampoo.
Oh, yep.
Sorry, I had to.
Well, we hit you with so many dad jokes on these shows that, So then he goes back to the apartment, and they run into a young lady. What was her name? Lucy. So played by Catherine Newton. So she comes out to be a reporter, but she's actually an intern. Oh wow, she was from Big Little Lies and a bunch of other things. I'm looking at her IMDb right now. So
I wasn't super familiar with her. I mean, I knew she was in other things, but I was not super familiar with her. The kid that plays Tim, he's been in a few things that I had seen, Paper Towns, and of course, like you said, was it one of the Jurassic?
Oh, she was on Supernatural.
She looked familiar, and I thought briefly that's who she was. I think she was one of the girls that, Supernatural tried to do the spinoff show. And then at the last minute, CW was like, just kidding, we're canning it. And everybody was like, are you fucking crazy? She was one of the girls that would have been one of the main characters if they had continued with the spinoff, Supernatural.
Yeah, she was also in Blockers and 3 Billboards. She was actually the daughter, I guess, that the whole thing is about.
I've never seen either one of those. Both, I've been told both are really good, though.
I've never seen Blockers. 3 Billboards is good. I don't know about rewatchability, but it's a good movie. So she, knows a lot about Pokemon and has been kind of following the case and works for, the Clifford family over at the Rhyme TV station or wherever it is. And that's Tim's kind of like, inside to try to kind of follow the case to where it's going to lead him to.
And she's actually really smart. Like, you think, oh, she's just an intern. But she's actually really smart and really intuitive.
Mm-hmm. And she has a Psyduck.
Yes, her Pokemon is a Psyduck.
So, and
he's creepy at first.
I know. First it's like, and even Pikachu like calls it out. She's like, a Psyduck? Really? You have a Psyduck. He's like, Psyduck. Stay calm.
I like how they have a conversation. So I like how Pikachu has conversations with other Pokemon, and they just say because Pokemon, essentially whatever they are, so Psyduck, when they talk, it's kind of like Groot. All he says is, I am Groot. So Psyduck's just Psyduck, but in different like tone and almost kind of like dialect depending on what they're trying to say. And so like Squirtle. It's the same for all of them. Like if that's how they talk. But what's really funny through the whole thing is Psyduck and Pikachu have these conversations. And where obviously the audience and Tim can hear everything that Pikachu is saying. Lucy cannot hear anything. So she just hears Pika, 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 Pika. Like her Psyduck is doing, and they have conversations back and forth with each other, and he'll be like, no, I am not going to do that. Okay, stay calm. Like
that one scene when they're in the car.
Oh, and he's like, I will not massage your foot. Like,
and Pikachu's in a car seat. And Psyduck's it looked like the most awkward like road trip ever.
And I was like, this car, she's got to own like the tiniest fucking car possible to carry around a Psyduck with her every day.
Because Psyducks aren't small.
No, I mean, they're not a Snorlax, but they're not small.
Oh god, yeah, Snorlax. And there were so many Pokemon that just came by. It's like, oh, look at that. My son was like, his favorite, I think, is a Trico. And I was like, all it did was like hang out on the glass in the apartment building, in the lobby.
Yeah.
Like there were so many that were like up there like very briefly, and others that you just saw. I saw a lot, and then others that flashed by. And then I believe he ends up at the arena, the underground fight. I believe, and there's we see that War Turtle. The Blastoids Gengar fight, and then somehow he gets Pikachu involved with Charizard, where he's got to beat him in order to get information about where the R is coming from.
Which my son did not like how Charizard looked in his evolution there when they're in the underground fight.
Okay. Was he too menacing? Was he too...
No, he wasn't. It wasn't like the menace or the mean. He said he's just way scaly. He's like, I understand that they're trying to make him a realistic version. He said, but even in the cartoon, when he takes his evolution into that version. He's like, he shouldn't be that scaly and dragon-like. I said, well, that was their interpretation. He's like, I just don't know. He's like, he should be more smooth, and he's like, he always has been. So Caden really didn't like that he looked more scaly dragon-esque than what they have kind of always led you to believe. Because he's like, if he's had scales this whole time, why weren't they drawn into his character? He's like, other characters' feathers, like, you can tell they have feathers on them. You can tell they have fur on them. He's like, why couldn't you tell that? Like, if he's always had scales at that evolution, why weren't they always involved in the drawings? And I was like, okay, that's pretty in depth there, but I buy what you're against. You know, I get it.
That was deep, Caden. That was deep.
I know, right? But I was like, okay, if that's his one problem, I'm not gonna tell him he's wrong.
Yeah, but that was cool. A lot of people love Charizard. Like, that was me. Yeah. Like, when I first started playing Pokemon Go, I'm like, why can't I get a Charizard? They're like, Dad, first you got to catch Charmeleon, and then you get enough of those, and then candies, then you can evolve into a Charmander, and you get enough of those, you can be a Charizard. I'm like, I just want a Charizard. I don't want to deal with
damn Pidgeys, though.
Pidgeys and Rattatas.
Oh, God, yes. I'm like, screw the damn Pidgeys.
Yes, and the rats, and sometimes you see something like, oh my God, I'm going to get that. Oh, I'm not close enough. God damn it.
Yeah, you look like you're close enough. I know everybody, when it first came out, was trying to overhear. They were like, I want a Snorlax. I want a Snorlax. And there were apparently only certain parts of town you could get a Snorlax.
Yeah.
And I know this sounds funny, but I laid down to take a nap one day because I just didn't feel good. And I woke up, and you know how when you wake up, you're like, I'm going to play with my phone. And like, I don't know. I was like, I'm just going to turn on Pokemon Go. Why the hell not? And my Snorlax was on the end of my bed. So I kept telling everybody, I'm convinced you got to take a nap. Like, it knows.
Yeah, I caught like one Snorlax. It was so low, CP, whatever it's called. I was like, oh, yeah, but it was funny. I got a little obsessive with some things where I was like, and Krabbies everywhere too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're geeking out now about Pokemon Go. But yeah, so then they get out of the arena, right? And then, is that when they end up in the car or something? I'm trying to remember.
I think it's pretty close because the whole point is he's gone to the arena because he and Pikachu are thoroughly convinced. Pikachu, by the way, has no memory. Like, he knows who he is, and he knows who Harry is, and he knows that he cares deeply for Harry, and he knows he's Harry's Pokemon, but he remembers nothing from the crash, and there's a bunch of stuff he doesn't remember before the crash. He essentially has, like, kinda amnesia. And the reason he kept saying I have amnesia, and I'm like, but you only kinda have amnesia because you are remembering things, like, kinda. You know, you've got memories of, like, you know, you care for this person, you know that he was a cop, you know where you were his Pikachu. So he and Tim are at this point convinced that Tim's dad is not dead. Like, there's no way. They're just thoroughly convinced of it, and they're on this hunt because Tim's dad, who was a very seasoned and apparently like the best detective that Rhyme City had, that's the R was found in the apartment, and he had a vial of it because he was onto something. Lucy knew he was onto something and is dead set on getting the scoop. So now they have paired up. So you got a Pikachu and a Psyduck and a Lucy and Tim. And now I think.
And Tim obviously.
Yes.
Were you shipping for Lucy and Tim?
I kind of was, actually, because they were both just so adorable.
Yeah.
And yeah. So, yeah. Do they go to the underground fight before they go back to Lucy? Because remember, they go visit her because Pikachu's like, that girl knows something. You need to go see your girlfriend. He's like, she's not my girlfriend. And so they go see her at work. In her office. Yes,
which is a closet.
It's a closet. It's essentially like a janitor's closet that's been turned, or a storage closet for like stuff for the news station, essentially. So I don't remember, and this sounds bad, but I don't remember if they do that before or after the fight. And then I think they go back to see her after the fight. And they're like, clearly this is a really big thing.
Yes, and they follow it to, I guess, the
secret lab, essentially, that belongs to
It turns out it belongs to the Cliffords, right?
Right. It belongs to the Cliffords. And the Clifford, the big guy who's in the wheelchair, who's like he started Rhyme City.
Mm-hmm.
He decided that everybody can live cohesively, and that's how you become a better you, is to live hand in hand, and that's why he feels better than he used to. He comes to him and says, your dad was working for me. I know what happened here. I can show you the crash in like 3D.
Yes.
Like, you need to understand. And then he even convinces him, like, no, your dad's not dead, basically.
Yeah.
And so they go through all of that to find out, like, this belongs to Clifford. And then they're just kind of baffled because they're like, well, why wouldn't he say something? Like, why wouldn't he tell me all of this? Which there's some interesting things at that secret lab.
Yeah, there's the, what are those damn things called? Green ninjas? In there, and then there's also those other things that like look like a mountain was growing or something, and turns out
those are the turtles.
Yeah, they were not the Squirtles.
There's a different version, and I apologize, I can't remember its like start off name.
Yeah, let's see if we can find it in trivia or something on this thing, but yeah, so they end up going there, and they find like all like, you know, how this whole thing started, all the experiments with Mewtwo and how it kind of evolved, and how, you know, Pikachu, I guess the whole thing where I think with the crash, right? Is that how it got revealed? Or is that later?
Like what actually goes on with Mew? Like, okay, so that happens when him and Lucy get separated, when they go to investigate the super secret lair that's now been like completely abandoned that belongs to the Cliffords. You know, they get separated, and she's in there like taking pictures and like snooping around, and he moves on to another spot, which is where they were holding Mew. And him and Pikachu like realize like, hey, this one dash or unit or whatever is still kind of working. And it pulls up more of those like 3D surround you memories, essentially, and they play through them to understand. And Pikachu finds a way to make it go back. And they realize that his dad is actually the one that went out and found Mewtwo for them to even, I guess, experiment on. And then he's like, there's just no way. There's no way I would have done that.
Yeah, no way I would have turned on him.
Right.
And then kind of, and also it's very clever how they never show Tim's dad's face.
Ever. Like, never, ever. And I kind of, like, at one point I was like, oh, you know who would be good for them to, like, finally, like, turn around and show his face? And they never showed his hands or anything either. Like, you didn't know, like, his skin color or anything. But I was like, oh, the guy that plays the dad on The Flash, I was like, oh, he'd be good.
Oh, yeah. That's,
But then I was like, oh, well, that doesn't really fit the voice of Pikachu. So I don't know. This is an odd one. But yeah, they, cause there's the story when is he telling Lucy about, his mom?
Yeah.
And, his mom apparently had passed away from cancer when he was very young. And you get the story where he, is either telling Lucy or Pikachu one, you know, yeah, my dad and we all lived together, and then I stayed with my grandma, and my mom passed, and you see like what he remembers, where the dad pulls in and, you know, she says his name, and then they just hug each other and cry, but you never actually see him.
Yeah.
And then even when the dad, like, anytime you see anything that the dad's done, you always kind of see him in that, hat, glasses, or, you know, hat, jacket. You only see the back of him ever. Like walking away.
Yeah, it was very clever on their part.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So it turns out, and also the Ditto Pokemon plays a very big role.
Huge.
In this movie, which I didn't even know what that was until Pokemon Go. It's like, yay, I caught this thing. Oh, it's a Ditto. What the fuck is a Ditto?
When is it the first time that you see it? Is it when he goes to talk to Clifford, and Clifford's like, hi, Tim, I know who you are. I'm really sorry for everything. And your dad actually worked for me. You see the Ditto for the first time then, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
and the lady that comes to get Tim when Pikachu's like, it's a bad guy car.
Yeah.
She very much, looks like a Team Rocket.
Yeah.
Like, apparently I'm told there's a ton of Easter eggs. I noticed, like, the R on the formula is a Team Rocket R. Yeah. She looks just like someone from Team Rocket. So there are a few that I caught, but apparently there's, like, a whole crap ton of Easter eggs for, like, nods to different Pokemon things. And apparently there was supposed to be nods and stuff to prepare you for number 2.
Ah. Yeah.
There's a whole list somewhere online. I'm sure you guys can Google Foo and be like, oh, yeah.
So they go and they, we're jumping around a little bit because we're trying to recall everything. But they, they end up, going to the parade, right? Is that where we end up? Well, first they confront.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm trying to remember now. Like, it's like all running together. So it's, you know how when you know something and you just want to tell it, but that requires you to like go back here kind of deal. So they confront Clifford the son, at the facility. Mm-hmm. And
it turns out
here comes Mew. Yeah. Like here comes Mew and cause Pikachu's hurt, which that was sad. Like real.
And it turns out it was a Ditto actually the whole time.
Right. That was playing the
son.
Playing the son.
And also played the evil car lady. And and it keeps turning, and then it turned out Mew is being controlled by mind, kind of like almost like if Professor Xavier had control of Magneto,
right?
Thing. I guess for those comic book people out there, hopefully I made a good analogy. And he's controlling Mewtwo as well as the Ditto he's got going on there, and
because he's decided his version of like working together is, and one of the things that they found out in their like dive of this facility that's been abandoned is they're actually the experiments where they were being mind controlled and manipulated. So his whole like thing this whole time has been, to coexist together, to become the better you, a better version of yourself. And he thinks, well, if I put my mind from my failing body into this Pokemon, which apparently the one that can do it, over the others is Mew. So he puts his brain into Mew. But then, okay, that would have been fine with me, but he like immediately went evil with it. And he's like, I'm actually not this great guy that created this city however many years ago. What is it, like 20 years? Because the parade is like the anniversary or something.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm going to make it so everybody is, combined with their Pokemon. So, and which is, what happens, if you breathe in that gas that gets unleashed, that's in the balloons, like at a Batman, that ends up what happens to Lucy. It ends up happening to everybody on the ground.
Originally when that first happened, I was like, well, why didn't Tim then, when he first opened the vial back in his dad's apartment? And there's a reason, like we're going to tell in a minute, but I think the other reason is at that point, he was not tied to that Pikachu in any way. Because I think that's the only thing that saved him through all this is
he didn't have a Pokemon, basically.
He didn't have a Pokemon, and it requires Mew to like activate it on top of that as far as the human. Remember, because he was like, Mew is the gas went, but then Mew is also doing his little like purr with his like hands. So smelling it essentially doesn't necessarily do anything to you, but it does the Pokemon. It gets it, like we said, kind of roid rage. But then Mew activating it and its whatever magical cray stuff merges the Pokemon and the human together.
So, and then we have a nice a fight scene and a chase scene, and where is he on like the evolved Pidgeot or Pidgey whatever thing, right?
Pidgeotto.
Is that what he's flying on?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So
he's like, "Don't breathe the gas! Don't breathe the gas!
You breathe the glass," and he goes kind of viral or whatever you want to call him. And
I did think it was funny that he bounced onto his own balloon because they had balloons like at the parade of like all the different Pokemon. And like Pikachu ends up like flying and bouncing and landing like on himself, which is hysterical.
Yes, it was a it was a lot of funny in jokes. I mean, there was definitely humor like that you would get. Like, you know, they definitely somebody came in and did a nice comedy pass on this little punch up. But they so then, you know, we get about to the ending now. Is that where we are now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're pretty much at the ending when, you know, Tim realizes what's going on, and he kind of which is not who I thought was even though we realized, like, okay, the sun is actually, or the Ditto, the sun that we think is out there is actually the Ditto. But when you heard, like, beating and banging in the closet, I had a moment of, like, oh my God, he's had his dad locked in there this whole time. Like, I did for a moment. Like, my brain still wasn't at what they were spitting out there. Even though they kind of told you because of a few different things.
Yeah.
But when they let the sun out, the sun is like, I am tired. Essentially, he was tired of the shit. You were led to believe by Clifford that his son was jealous because he had poured himself into his work.
Yeah.
And that now he just wanted to, you know, be there for his son and be a good father, but he thought it was too late, which made you sympathize with him because Tim felt that way about his dad. You know, I don't want him to be dead, but we don't really have a relationship either because he threw himself into his work after my mom died because he didn't know what else to do. So he kind of, like, sympathizes for this old man because he's like, oh, he realizes where he screwed up with his son, and his son is too bitter to, like, repair it.
Yes.
But that's kind of fake, actually. The son was always, like, willing. He loved his dad's, like, coinciding with Pokemon idea and actually, like, wanted nothing more than to, like, follow in his dad's footsteps, essentially. So the son's like, forget this crap. I'm over it. And he and Tim together kind of take down, with the help of Pikachu, because Pikachu's out there, like, fighting Mew, and they're in here fighting the Ditto and the dad, and then the Mew, and they kind of break that brain connection and they fight off the Ditto. That's when, you know, Mew's like, what the crap, and tells them the truth and shows them the truth about everything. And kind of brings everybody back because, you know, everybody's been merged with their Pokemon. So there's, like, chaos in the streets, essentially.
And then we find out really what happened with the accident was that in order to save Tim's dad, he had to merge him with his Pokemon, which is Pikachu.
Which is the first time that they actually show the dad's anything that where you actually see his hands and his neck, like where you see skin color.
Yeah.
So you're starting to, like, immediately when you see skin color, you're like,
yes.
Like, I heard audible, like, from people. Like,
and it turns out it was Ryan Reynolds the whole time was his dad.
Ryan Reynolds is his dad, which they made him look a little, don't get me wrong, I understand that Ryan Reynolds is older because he's a few years older than me. So, I mean, I understand gray hair and stuff, but they made him look older than we normally see him as, which I did not dislike. But he almost looks like a completely different Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, he was like older, more established.
They made him more grizzled, basically.
Like,
I guess,
a little unshaven and
you
know, kind of like, you know, not all, you know, nightly coiffed. I guess, you know, nice and manscaped or whatever all over. You know, he was looking kind of like a Ryan Reynolds, like, you know, like regular Ryan Reynolds is like, you know, like Bloomingdale's, and this is like kind of like almost like your Target Ryan Reynolds.
There you go. That's a good analogy. I like that.
If you want to
it does fit with the job that he's held and the life that he's led because his wife died and then he had a disconnect from his son. So it, like, that haggard, grizzled, I've also, like, kind of been dead and inside my Pokemon here.
With no idea what the hell's going on.
Right. So the whole reason that Tim could understand Pikachu when no one else could is for the simple fact that the Pikachu had given up himself. That's also why Pikachu didn't have his memories, but he had given up himself to save Harry because he loved and cared for Harry that much. So that was Mew's first time merging human and Pokemon, which clearly it can be done, and done successfully, you know. Obviously, which is kind of a scary thought, as far as, like, second movie, like, where that would go. Clearly, Mew doesn't want to do it. Like, he's actually not a bad Pokemon. He's, you know, there to be helpful. So the whole reason that Tim could understand this Pokemon the entire time was because his dad's consciousness was in Pikachu.
Yes.
But Pikachu didn't know he was Harry, like the Clifford guy did, because of the amnesia part. Like he knew he cared for Harry because he also had the Pokemon's memories too. So, yeah.
And he also had property of Harry, or if lost, return to Harry. So he knew there was a connection somewhere there.
Right.
So yeah, and it turns out, they're gonna, they repair their relationship, and Tim's got the ticket to go back to wherever city he lives, and it turns out he wants to stay with his dad, and maybe go from being an insurance adjuster or whatever the hell he does to maybe going into the police work like his dad. So I mean, I was kind of surprised. I mean, I wasn't like shocked, but I really wasn't expecting Ryan Reynolds to turn out to be his dad.
I honestly wasn't either. Even though he was the voice of, and they kept like hiding who his dad really was, I still don't know why. In my brain, I expected like at the end for it to be somebody else. But at the same time, even knowing what we knew watching the movie, I didn't expect it to be that this Pokemon was never going to talk like that again once they separated them. I also was a little concerned because when they separated them, it killed like one or the other.
Oh, did it?
Well, like, did you notice like some people, like some disappeared, or maybe I like saw that wrong? Like, I don't know. Like, but the way that they worded it, because essentially his dad was dead, I was like, well, where's his body going to come back from? Like, if they separate them, does that kill Pikachu? Like, you see what I'm saying? I was like, I don't know how this is supposed to work. Does he just walk around and like, that's his Pokemon now because his dad's dead? There's no way to like take this back. Like, so when you see Ryan Reynolds standing there and Pika is just like, Pika, Pika, and like a normal Pokemon again, I was like, wait a second. Like, I have some questions.
Yeah, there was a lot of plot holes and a lot of general questions about Pokemon in general. Like, there's no animals anywhere. They're like, Pokemon are the animals.
I did notice that, which I wonder if that has something to do with the whole, like, because they exist, I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, what do they eat then? What if there's no cows or whatever? Where do we get our hamburgers from?
Yeah, like, do we eat them? Because that would not be good. That was the whole point of coinciding together.
Yeah. So
I assume we still have like cows and sheep and chickens.
God, I hope so.
That stuff. But it would be cool that like you knew that for sure.
So where do you think we go from here?
From here, I think you've definitely opened the door to have a second one. Ryan Reynolds even commented in a interview they did, because I guess he can't say yes or no whether there's a second. I'm sure it's already been talked about, and he probably knows, but it was told like we want to see the numbers. I'm sure with any movie franchise, especially not that Pokemon is new, but as far as going into this genre of movie, it's not a cartoon anymore, essentially.
Yeah, and
I'm sure they want to see what the numbers are before they go out and say, all right, yep, number 2, we're doing this.
Well, I'm sure they signed him when he originally signed to do the voice. He probably signed on for at least 1 or 2 sequels.
Right. And I'm sure but like he hasn't come out and said it. So I'm sure like he can't probably, for his arbitration agreement and all of that, he probably cannot. But he did make the comment that even if they didn't do a number 2 with him and Tim and, continuation of that story, and this kind of goes with you earlier saying, yes, we talked about how there's 807, I don't know, Pokemon, that there are so many that you could continue this universe and stay in this universe, and still have like so many different movies and stories that you could tell. So that leads me to believe that that's his way of saying that there's more without being able to say there's more.
So it made $54.4 million its opening weekend.
Is that domestic or?
That's I'm guessing domestic.
Okay.
Because Endgame did 63.3 and the gross is 72 on IMDb, it's saying the total gross is 723.7, which is not worldwide because it's made over $2 billion already worldwide.
It's officially broke, and it's number 1 now, right?
Yeah.
Or is it number 2?
I think it's almost there. I mean, it's got. I think from what I heard, it's got like 200 or so more million to break the domestic box office record.
Gotcha.
But the worldwide, it'll break Avatar soon, if it hasn't already. But yeah, so it did pretty good. I mean, it made, only about $9 million less. And the next movie was The Hustle at $13 million. So,
which I said that was going to be my bust. So
it could be, it's all based on the budget, really.
I will say I was sad because when we were there, there were also a lot of like groups of women because it was Mother's Day going to see movies together. And I'm like, don't see The Hustle. You're going to ruin my contest.
So this week, I think it depending on word of mouth, it shouldn't drop off too much because John Wick, 3 is a different audience. The only other really kid movie coming out is A Dog's Journey. So I don't.
I'm going to tell you, I cried through. That's a sequel.
Yes.
And I cried through just the freaking preview. So we probably going to save that one for the house.
Yeah, that's reincarnated dogs. It's
reincarnated dog, and the initial dog's name is Bailey, and we have a dog we lost. Its name is Bailey. So immediately, my son and I were like, and then we're having this whole conversation. He's like, "Why won't you take me to see the dog movie?" And I'm like, "Why do you think I want to take you to see the dog movie?" And he's like, "Fair point." So I'm like, "Yeah, we're probably gonna save that one for the house."
Yeah. My son would probably come out crying because he'd be like, "Toby."
Oh, anytime the dog, like the whole point is that it reincarnates, and it's supposed to be a happy story of like, in an end, there's also a beginning, but at the same time, I would I don't care. I'm gonna cry every time a dog dies.
Yeah. I mean, it's like when you go see Marley and Me. You know what's gonna happen
every single time.
It's so funny. It's my previous dog I got him. I was 12. All right, I was almost 28 when he died. His name was Abercrombie. He was a pointer. It's so funny too. Is like my current dog Toby. There are times like he'll act like Abercrombie, and I'll start calling him Abertoby. It's just like sometimes you just get lucky in the personalities.
Yeah,
seem to mesh. He's like a bigger, goofier, rougher version of my other dog. But yeah, we're not here to talk about dog movies though. But the point is. Well, as long as we're not talking about bird movies.
No, right. It's not a bird movie.
It's not a bird movie. For shame. So we got, so I think Pokemon should do well this weekend. And then the next real competition will be Memorial Day weekend with Aladdin coming out.
My son actually really, every time he sees the preview, I told you he made like this big fit about what is that when he saw Genie. Mm-hmm. But they showed the preview before Endgame, and then they showed the preview before Missing Link, and then they showed a different preview before Pokemon. It was like a short. I don't know if you got that one. Because I know different theaters show different previews. But we saw a different shortened like, hey, it's almost here, one right before Pokemon. And he keeps looking at me and he's like, yeah, we're going to see that. And I'm like, okay. So I guess we will be seeing Aladdin.
Yeah, I'm going to see it anyway.
I just didn't know if he would want to, so it wasn't really on my list. So I found out something about our Pokemon, like what do you call it?
Okay.
So the plural form of a Pokemon is just the same in its singular form. Oh. So Pikachu would just be Pikachu.
Oh.
And apparently people say it incorrectly all the time, and there's a goof, apparently, from what I'm finding out now, in one scene when Tim is mentioning say it for me. The Greninja.
Green Ninja?
Yeah. So you don't say it juz, like as in plural, and he does.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
When he's talking about them being set free, you should just say it in its singular form, so no matter what Pokemon you're talking about.
Ah. So,
Yes.
so in terms of Place to Be Nation, our little summer movie wager bet thing, most of us had it in the 5-6 range. Myself and Russ had it 5. You, Jenny, and Tim had it at 6. And Scott had it as his bomb. And I think he's going to lose out on that one. Poor Scott. Scott took a lot of...
Poor Scott, he kind of bagged on all kids' movies. And
Yes.
I was like, really, dude?
Yeah,
He's going to hate me right now. He's going to be like, are you calling me out? And I am, because you called my movie a bird movie.
Yes, it's not a bird movie.
You and Tim both called my movie a bird movie.
But I was a guest on Main Event a couple weeks ago, and he I actually brought up to Nate. I said, Nate, look, I'm like, Scott, I love you, brother, but once upon a time in Hollywood, you're telling me that only Avengers Endgame is going to make more money than that this summer? Really? I'm like, all right, take a big swing, man. That's good. But,
you got to see chances on the competition like that though. So
yeah, so we'll coming up as we go through the summer though, we'll try to see like where everybody's where the standings are and see who's maybe out of it, who may have a chance, and then we'll see who's going to be the one that has the victory and gets to torture the rest of us.
So hopefully it sounds like if everything works out for everyone here at Place to Be Nation, both feeds, it's possible that you will get preview/spoiler pods on a chunk of the shows that we did from the summer movie.
And we're gonna try to mix up the voices too. It's not just gonna be me and Miranda, although we love talking movies, but we're not gonna see everything or have the ability to talk about everything on a pod.
Right. And I have to let other people talk sometimes, and eventually at some point I'm not going to be able to talk.
Yes, and we were supposed to have a third person tonight.
We were in spirit.
Yeah, our Jenny, yes, your geek and sassy partner, my very often guest, co-host, contributor, collaborator, whatever you want to call it. So Jenny was supposed to join us tonight, but unfortunately, things came up and she couldn't be here, so she's here in spirit. So, like I said, coming up, Laughing Theater, Dumb and Dumber with Jennifer Smith. That should be dropping within the next week or so on the pop feed. And then after that, Miranda, you and I, we're not going to reveal what movie, but it ties into the summer.
It does.
Yes, so stay tuned. Anything else we got going on there? Geek and Sassy will be back when it gets back.
We're actually trying to figure something out now with a special guest. It will either come out before 4th of July, which is probably not going to happen with everybody's schedules. So, yeah. We will have one out in July. I can say that because that's the goal. Is since I haven't had surgery yet, there was a topic of discussion we wanted to take care of. So hopefully we can give you guys an episode in July.
Awesome. So I want to thank everybody who listened. Hopefully we'll have a John Wick 3 spoiler review app, and then possibly after that Aladdin, and so on and so forth. So yeah, well, Pop Goes the Movies, we're trying to really grow it here and just be your one stop for comics, movies, sports, everything over here on the Pop feed with myself, Miranda, and many, many other great hosts and great guests we have over here. So I want to thank you, Miranda, for joining me tonight. We had a good time. We always enjoy talking movies, and we're going to see you guys at the next one. So take care, everybody. Good night.
Chọc cây. Fucking chọc cây. Oh God.